pedestrians will be stopped from trying to cross the same way, cars and trucks are stopped from trying to cross. Those are already in place. Yeah.
Did you, I don't know if I misunderstood, but are you saying that the trains from here, I mean, right now, it doesn't go into the city. It doesn't even go to Ronkonkoma. So is that something that is going to be done and changed?
Well, some trains do go into the city from here.
Very infrequently.
Increasing the frequency is one of our goals. And hopefully long-term, this will allow them to improve the service. Yes, from here, we don't have a lot of trains into the city. We also don't have a lot of trains locally. But we're trying to improve that. Our South Fork commuter connection, which is Spionk to Montauk. We have 2 trains every morning. We have 2 trains every afternoon. One of those in the afternoon actually goes all the way back into New York. So we're working, small steps, but we're working towards greater frequency. Had a Zoom call with the folks from the railroad last Friday, and I think the Thursday before. So we're really, and Assemblyman Schiavone was in on those calls, so they know, we've got a lot of support out here for this. So it's, small steps, but I think we're going in the right direction.
Thank you.
Hey, Bill.
I have one quick question.
I know you.
Yes. When the trains are sitting there, are the gates gonna be up or down?
When the trains are sitting, thank you for asking that. That's another
A
improvement.
lot of people get very aggravated about that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is very aggravating, and they made it a point to say that with this new siding, and platform, they'll be able to keep those gates up when the trains are in the station, unlike the way it is right now. So thank you for that, that's a big improvement.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
A quick question, has the town, could they give any thought to increasing the spaces that are for short-term parking? I mean, okay, maybe for long-term, because, not to be just me, but I frequently have a hard time parking around here. Like maybe there should be a commuter lot or more short-term. I know there's short-term parking here for 4 hours, but is there any place to put a commuter lot or more short-term parking?
That is on the north side of good ground, it's 1 hour parking right now, and we're gonna leave that the way it is. And I have aerials, but be glad to show them to you. But the north side, the side, which is adjacent to the post office and down and the back of the firehouse and everything, that side of good ground.
Right, on the north side of good ground.
Good ground, right.
That. The other side though is.
Right now, it's totally unregulated.
Right.
We're gonna do the 18-hour parking, but I think,
It's just like the short term, like you wanna go to the post office because you're finally gonna return that.
we're
stuff
thinking
to
about
Amazon.
30-minute parking.
From the chicken place at the Hamlet.
Right. We're thinking about 30-minute parking right up at the very end, closest to Ponquag, which would really be to accommodate, you're coming to pick up your friend off the train, or, Uber or a cab or something needs to pull over to wait to pick somebody up. We're thinking about 30-minute, those last few spaces on good ground.
Well, those huge buses, they take up 6 spots waiting for the train sometimes. I don't know, these charter buses, whatever.
Yeah, those operate usually when the train is broken down or there's a disruption in service. They bring in outside buses to provide comparable service. That's why they're probably there. But
All right, we're gonna have to hold any other questions, okay? But by all means, email any of these gentlemen.
feel free to email me on the train stuff or any other transportation.
Thanks very much for the information.
Thank you.
My updates are super quick.
And, well, quick, you're next.
Yeah.
What you didn't go.
Mine won't be quick, as long as no one answers any questions.
So this is Hannah, one of
I'm
the
Hannah.
trustees.
I'm one of the new trustees. We secured funding for Corwin Boat Ramp and also Peconic. We still do have to go out to bid for them, but in the interim, I know there's a pothole that's pretty bad at Corwin, so we will be temporarily repairing that before we actually get to the major renovations for it. And then also, if you have or know of anyone that had any dock issues with all the snow, all the ice and whatnot this year, you need a permit to do any repairs, even if you're just putting the pilings in the same exact spot, you do need a permit, and we are expediting it, so it's gonna be a super easy process. but it does have to be in by April 15th. And feel free to call the trustee's office, they'll walk you through it, it's an expedited process, we can make sure that your docks are up and ready to go by the summer. And that's it.
Thank you so much.
Try to be quick.
We are so lucky to have everybody come here and fill us in, so lucky.
Oh, I'm sorry, one last thing. One last thing.
Come on, Bob.
We are waiting, someone actually, a resident of Hampton Bays donated some monofilament line receptacles, which are the fishing line. And those are hopefully gonna be installed within the next couple months at, a few different town locations, and trustee locations within Hampton Bays. So if you see any, fishing line or fishing nets, they'll be able to be put in there. And there'll be plenty of signage both in English and Spanish.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sorry, now I'm done.
Okay, so I want to bring your attention, because we didn't have January and February meeting, but I'm sure all of you are aware that our member Marion Bowden was Woman of the Year. We just wanted to give the recognition finally, and also she has something to say tonight. And then we're gonna move on to our guest speaker
My
presentation.
father always said I must have been vaccinated with a phonograph needle, because I always have something to say. But I'll keep it really brief. Along the lines of thanking, I know Michael brought up the fact that it was because of citizen input that Bass was defeated, and it was citizen input.
So if you back up, they can hear you over there as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
It was citizen input, it was not town input until their back was to the wall. And very many people in our community gave up at least a whole summer. And I was amazed at the number of experts we had who volunteered time. It didn't cost anything, and I think they are our heroes. And so along the lines with that, I also want to say, Eileen, I got today preliminary plans for Ricky's Plumbing. There's going to be, yes, and they asked me to forward it to you, and I'll do it. I got it today. And it looks okay, but the devil is in the details. You learn that. And all of them always have pretty pastel pictures of geraniums and hydrangeas, and then when reality comes, you get a tree that's calipers that big. But anyway, I wanted to speak to you along the lines of citizen input about the cannabis, and you can correct me if there's anything new. But a lot of people may not be aware. Again, that was because of citizen input. We got about 1,000 signatures from people asking not to have a cannabis shop next to Carvel, a couple of 100 feet away from the preschool, and where teenagers are taking religious formation, God help them, going from religious formation to the pot shop. But anyway, and about 1,000 feet from the main part of town, which everybody knows is Pond Park and Montauk. When I was a kid, it was called the heart of downtown Hampton Bays, and to have a cannabis shop, which under the law is supposed to be out in highway business 1,000 feet from the main drag, is unacceptable. So we got a lot of signatures, and that forced the town to change the zoning. That really was an error. That was zoned highway business. It should not have been. It has been reduced, so now it's more like a village business. But what I really just wanted to say is, and I want to thank the town for it, but we have to keep pressure up, is the town, along with the town of Riverhead and Brookhaven, have taken the cannabis thing to court. Because what they said, it was a bait and switch thing. We were talked into letting it be put through in Hampton Bays, not in Hampton Bays, in Southampton, which by the way, only as, East Hampton, for instance, isn't allowing them at all. And every village in the town of Southampton said no, which we should learn to take a clue from them. Anyway, bait and switch was, they said that if we signed off on it, that the town would be able to pick the spots. And once we signed off on it and everything, they said, oh no, now you're being discriminatory and you're not following this, so you're changing that. So it changed with the town, and I want you all to support the pleas. They're fighting in court to get this rectified, and hopefully it'll work out. Okay, I don't know, Michael and Bill, do you have anything to add to that?
I think you hit on all the
You hit a good spot.
right
Okay,
points.
thank you. Okay, so then, I said it. Good night.
Thank you very much.
And by But it was person of the year.
Oh, you said woman. Thought I said man. Sorry. I also want to add, when Marion said, she meant the Old Town Board were the ones that decided that we would opt out. So it wasn't we, meaning the civic or the people in this town. We didn't have any say on that.
And not only
As far as
that,
I know.
I hate to knock the prior administration, but I think it's worth noting, which is why we have to stay involved, is that I was stunned at a town board meeting when the director, the person who bought the property, Mr. Lusberg, I think his name was, he and his brother, said, "I'm surprised there's opposition. It was Jay Schneiderman, the supervisor, who showed me the property." Thank you. There you go.
Thank you for everyone's input. And now we're going to have our guest speaker, Laura Clemenson. We're going to ask that you do not interrupt the presentation. You ask questions after, if they haven't been answered already. And we're going to move so that we're not blocking you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Two quick things on, I want to add my thanks to the town regarding the cannabis work. That zoning change was important because between Carvel and Skidmore's and the old North Fork Bank, there was nothing fundamentally different about what happens in those two different zones. And by the villages opting out, it concentrated this opportunity to build cannabis shops in unincorporated areas like Hampton Bays. So that, number one. Number two, Tom, thank you for the work with the South Fork Commuter Connection, and Michael as well. We're at the beginning of this. School districts, hospitals, folks that work out east, we are the beginning of the pipeline, with the exception of Spionk. But you drive down Good Ground, to your point, man, that it is congested in the morning. And if you live on the south side of Montauk Highway and you're off to get your coffee, anytime between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. when I'm bringing 1,950 children to school, you see that Wakeman and Conquag and Shinnecock and Foster Avenue are very congested. And what happens when you're late, you're harried, you're trying to get to work. So from the school district's point of view, the South Fork Commuter Connection and public transportation is a public safety issue for us in Hampton Bays. It's great for an East Hampton teacher and a Sag Harbor or Bridgehampton teacher to be able to get on the train and off they go. But for us at the beginning of the pipeline, when cars are zipping through Dune Road and over the bridge to get back to Montauk Highway, it creates a public safety issue for us. So that is our utmost priority, is keeping our students and staff safe as they're coming to school in the morning and moms and dads dropping off and starting their day. So the school districts continue to want to work with the South Fork Commuter Connection, and increasing those sidings is important because then you can get more trains moving. The 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon are fantastic, and they're full, as we see on Good Ground Road and people parking here. But from our perspective, while our teachers and staff from Patchogue and elsewhere can't take advantage of that, we are the beginning of the pipeline. So that public safety piece is really important for us, so thank you. My name is Lars Clemenson. I'm the superintendent of schools here in Hampton Bays, and I'm with my 2 colleagues, Larry Luce, assistant superintendent for finance, and Michael Morgan, class of 2003, Hampton Bays. We got him back from New York City. He taught in the Bronx and Manhattan, and we lured him back to Hampton Bays, and he is the assistant principal at Hampton Bays High School. So part of our team is here with us today. We're going to advance slides here. So what I'm going to do is, when I was preparing with Eileen to build out the presentation, she said, we want to know where the money goes, right? Because the tax bill, I'm a Hampton Bays resident since 1980, but just me as an adult for the last 20 years. It's the biggest part of our investment, right? So 75 to 82% of our property tax bill goes to the school. Why is that number so big? because we can't raise revenue. I can't say, you want to play the tuba? It's going to cost you $100, and you're going to play the flute, cheaper instrument, you can pay 10. I can't charge for services in public education. I also can't discontinue something like a business would do. I can't say chemistry didn't really work for us, so we're not going to run that product next year. So we have those obligations. I can't charge revenue by permits and fees and things like that or to any substantive degree. So our two biggest sources of revenue are state aid from Albany, which is not enough. I'll say that frankly. It is not enough. It is about 20 cents on the dollar. It used to be about 11 cents on the dollar. Through advocacy and work with our elected officials in Albany, that number has increased as the legislature and the governors in the past have made more of an investment. But in the formulas, we are considered a wealthy school district, a wealthy community in New York State, above average wealth. Not super above average. If their mathematical formula is the average wealth in New York State is 1, right? If you are below average wealth, you might be 0.8. If you are above average wealth, like Hampton Bays, we are 1.6. Bridgehampton is 42, for example. But in the eyes of the state, we're on the beautiful Atlantic Ocean and the 3 bays that surround us, so we are considered a wealthier community. By that logic, Albany says the responsibility can fall more on us as property taxpayers to fund our obligations for public education. We are constantly in Albany. I spend a lot of time on Route 87, usually once every 6 weeks or so, to continue telling our story about Hampton Bays and about how every dollar that comes from Albany is one that helps mitigate that investment that we make. But in preparing with Eileen over the last 10 days or so, we wanted to really illustrate the return on the investment. So we're paying our taxes. What's going on at school? Now, some of you saw Sister Act a couple of weeks ago, right? 10 days ago. And we want you to come to school for as many things as you're interested in. April 23rd, we have our Science Research Symposium, the smartest kids you'll ever meet. Some words you can't even pronounce, I'm sure, but what they're studying, I can't pronounce them. And so Thursday, April 23rd is our Science Symposium. Those of you who have been in here in the past have met these brains, and they're bright, and it makes you feel really good when you see our thespians on stage and when you see our science researchers and our athletes say, oh, the world is a little tense and scary right now, but look at these kids, we're gonna be okay, right? And so that's what I wanna talk to you about right now, because in Hampton Bays, we really look at meeting the child where they are and then developing the just right pathway for them. We are worried about the day after graduation for kids. So in generations in the past, when we were all in school, K-12's responsibility was to get you out the door, right? The university's responsibility was to get you graduated and into the world. And then you figured it out on your own. Now, the philosophy has evolved a bit. That if I get you to graduation day, and you've collected enough coins to get a diploma, right? I have my 4 English coins, I have my 4